There are a lot of people, I think, were hesitant to come into the market because they were waiting for a pullback. Well, we had it. It's over. You don't have to wait for it anymore. It's now behind us. I think that's going to be particularly important in the mining stocks because I think one of the reasons that the mining stocks were not rising spectacularly when gold and silver were making these new highs. And in fact, the day that silver made its new high above, 121, most silver stocks were down on the day. Investors were very hesitant, thinking that there was going to be a big pullback. Now, they were right. We did have a big pullback. It's in the past. I think some confidence is going to slowly be rebuilt. And I do believe that silver stocks and gold stocks will make new highs before gold and silver make new highs. And that's very bullish.
Investor hesitation dominated the precious metals market as many waited for a long anticipated pullback. That correction has now occurred, and according to renowned market commentator Peter Schiff, the psychological barrier holding investors back is fading. Mining stocks, particularly silver and gold miners, lagged even as spot prices hit record highs, an unusual divergence driven by fear of a deeper correction. With that pullback now firmly in the rearview mirror, confidence is gradually returning. Schiff believes mining stocks are poised to outperform, potentially reaching new highs before gold and silver themselves do. Historically, this leadership from miners signals a powerful bullish trend ahead. Now, we present the clips from Peter Schiff's interview. Before we continue to discuss this, please subscribe to our channel and activate the bell icon for timely updates. Thank you, and enjoy the video.
A lot of people, I think, that were hesitant to come into the market because they were waiting for a pullback. Well, we had it. It's over. You don't have to wait for it anymore. It's now behind us. I think that's going to be particularly important in the mining stocks because I think one of the reasons that the mining stocks were not rising spectacularly when gold and silver were making these new highs. And in fact, the day that silver made its new high above, 121, most silver stocks were down on the day. So investors were very hesitant, thinking that there was going to be a big pullback. Now, they were right. We did have a big pullback, but now it's in the past. So I think some confidence is going to slowly be rebuilt. And I do believe that silver stocks and gold stocks will make new highs before gold and silver make new highs. And that's very bullish. But it also means that it's a great opportunity to buy into the gold and silver mining stocks. So don't just buy the physical metals. And you can do that, obviously, at Schiff Gold. And by the way, as I was warning, the premiums have widened. So even though silver went way down, the silver coins and bars that we sold, they went down too, but not as much. The drop wasn't as great because the spreads went up, because there was a lot of physical demand to buy the dip. The big collapse happened in the paper market where there is no physical. So that's another factor that you have to bear in mind. I do expect over time the demand to increase and outstrip the supply. And so that's going to keep pressuring the premiums on, especially the smaller coins and bars, 1 ounce coins. So get them now, go to Schiff Gold and get them. But these mining stocks, I'm confident they're making new highs long before silver. I think silver stocks will make new highs by a decent margin before silver gets back above 120, because I think the fear that kept the silver stock investors on the sidelines, I think that will slowly subside as the market starts to repair from the decline and move higher. And this is in sharp contrast to what's happening in Bitcoin. And look, this is obviously not a surprise to my audience. I have been saying this. I've been warning about this. I've been telling you, crypto guys, that the game is over and you got to get out while you can. Well, Bitcoin right now is at 72,500. Now, it's down. If you want to compare it to gold, Bitcoin right now is 14 and a half ounces of gold. In 2021, at its peak, it was 36.3 ounces of gold. Bitcoin is now down 60% priced in gold since its November 2021 high, right? This is 2026. Now, it's not November, but it's more than 4 years ago, not quite 5, but down 60%. And think about all the things that have happened with Bitcoin, because back then there weren't, we didn't have the Bitcoin ETFs yet. We didn't have the Bitcoin president. We didn't have the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. We didn't have MicroStrategy, and I'm going to talk about them in a minute, and all the other copycat Bitcoin treasury companies, right? Despite all that, it went down by 60% in terms of gold. But even if you want to price it in dollars, Bitcoin is less than 6% above its 2021 high in dollars. In dollars. What a lousy return on Bitcoin. And remember, its whole claim to fame, the whole reason you're supposed to buy Bitcoin is because it's the best returning asset.
Market sentiment is shifting as the long-awaited pullback in precious metals has already occurred, removing a major psychological barrier for investors. According to economist Peter Schiff, this reset is especially bullish for gold and silver mining stocks, which previously lagged despite record highs in spot prices. Fear kept investors sidelined, but confidence is now rebuilding. Schiff believes mining stocks will reach new highs well before gold and silver themselves, creating a compelling buying opportunity. Meanwhile, physical metal premiums remain elevated due to strong demand, while Bitcoin continues to underperform when measured against gold, down roughly 60% since 2021, highlighting a stark contrast between hard assets and crypto speculation. Let's get back to the interview.
That's what people really liked about Trump the first time, was that he talked about all the fake government numbers and all the bullshit that were being fed by the media and by Wall Street. And yeah, that message resonated, and he won an election that nobody expected him to win. But me, I thought he was going to win because I knew that message would resonate, because I was saying the same thing. I mean, a lot of Trump's early stump speeches, I thought maybe the guys were listening to my podcasts, and that's why they were writing them, because he really sounded a lot like me. He was saying a lot of the same things that I was saying, and it worked. But then the minute he became president, he changed. All the fake economic numbers became real because he wanted to hide behind those same fake numbers. He wanted to claim, look how great everything is. And so how did he do that? He pointed to the same numbers that he said were fake when they were out under Obama. And so that's not going to work because, it hasn't worked in 3 elections. What works is leveling with the public and admitting what they know. Things are bad. Things have gotten worse. The cost of living is going up, not down. People are going deeper into debt. And that the other ridiculous thing that Trump is doing, and Bassett, again, got caught up in this nonsense. Trump said when it comes to housing, right, he wants to solve the affordability problem. But the most important thing to him is that housing prices don't go down. Well, you can't solve the affordability problem if the things that are unaffordable don't get less expensive. That's what makes them more affordable. Housing is unaffordable because the prices are too high. Yet not only did Donald Trump say that he doesn't want the prices to come down, he specifically said he wants the prices to keep going up. Well, how are you going to solve housing affordability if the unaffordable houses become even more expensive? And then, of course, Scott Bessent was criticizing today the immigrants, saying, one of the reasons that housing prices are up is because of all these illegals that were coming in here bidding up prices, which they really weren't. But if that was the case, then why aren't we thanking them? Because Donald Trump says he loves these high home prices because people are rich now. Homeowners are rich. Well, if they're rich because a bunch of illegals came in and bid up the prices, then why is he mad at them? Because that's exactly what he wanted. He wanted these high home prices to enrich the people that already own homes. But if you enrich the people who already own homes, you make it impossible for the people who don't own homes to buy them. But the fact that it's impossible for the people who don't own homes to buy them means the people who own homes and are rich only think they're rich. They're only rich if they don't sell their home. They can pretend they're rich. They have a very expensive house that they can't sell, right? So as long as they don't try to sell the house, they can keep pretending they're rich. Now, what they can do with a house they can't sell is they could take out a loan against it, right? But if you take out a loan against a house that nobody could buy because the price is too high, who's going to lose? The lender, the bank, because ultimately the house price is going to come down because that's going to happen naturally. If people can't afford to buy houses, the market will reduce the price of a home until they're affordable. But Bessent, couldn't argue that. I mean, he's trying to argue that we got to keep home prices high, but we have to make them affordable. And all they could talk about is, well, we need lower mortgage rates, but we're not going to get lower mortgage rates because interest rates are rising, because we have so much debt. That is the problem. That's why the dollar is falling. That's why gold is at record highs. You've got this huge loss of confidence in the United States. I mean, right now you've got a loss in confidence in foreign central banks. They're buying gold, right? Foreign investors, they're buying their stocks. Besant is in denial of this. But right now, it's foreigners who are losing confidence in America. But in November, in the midterms, it's going to be Americans. American voters are losing confidence in the administration, in the Republican Party, because they're the ones that are steering the ship of state. And, they're steering it, off this cliff, and the voters know that.
Economic commentator Peter Schiff argues that political messaging fails when leaders deny realities voters already feel. While Donald Trump once resonated by calling out fake government statistics, Schiff says that credibility was lost when those same numbers were later embraced to claim economic success. Rising living costs, mounting debt, and unaffordable housing contradict official narratives. Schiff highlights the contradiction of promoting ever higher home prices while promising affordability, noting that inflated housing only benefits existing owners on paper. With debt driving higher interest rates, a weakening dollar, and record gold prices, Schiff warns of a growing loss of confidence, first abroad and soon among American voters, as economic pressures intensify. Share your thoughts on his analysis in the comment section below. If you find this video informative, please support us by turning on notifications to stay informed about our latest videos. See you in the following video. Thanks for watching.